Finally, I'm going to be addressing something that I feel like I've delayed for a little bit too long. So to answer everyone's questions, no, I no longer contain the Galaxy S8 Plus in my arsenal of technology. And yes, during the review of the Galaxy S8, it made me want to switch away from my iPhone for certain instances. And that, of course, was the big clickbaity title. You know, it made me want to switch away from my iPhone, but ultimately I didn't because of the ecosystem that is greater. However, after that review came out, we agreed that if we reached a certain goal during our live streams, that I would make the S8 my flagship phone. As in the phone I use on a day-to-day basis. I would leave the iPhone at home, which is what I did, which of course made the Apple Watch feel really ridiculous, but because you guys reached it, I did it, and I tried to use the Galaxy S8 solely. And as time went on, it started to lose its wow factor to the point that now I feel like it's worth talking about again. Enough time has passed, I think it's okay now to accept that the S8 is a very great demo product. What I mean by demo product is the first time you get your hands on it, the first time you see that infinity display and use that camera and feel its design, that is the best part of the purchase. As time goes on, it starts to get slower, it starts to develop more problems, and those aesthetically pleasing features actually kind of blur into the background and you stop thinking about them. I'm not the only one reporting this. I've had lots of people in the past say that their Galaxy phones were great when they first got them, but they very quickly became buggy and laggy only just a couple months after they bought them. So of course, I don't expect that anyone who bought the S8 is going to have the same problems I had. I'm sure that the S8 is being a great phone for lots of users out there. It's definitely a success for Samsung, but I kind of have unique requirements for my smartphone. Because I'm a YouTuber and because I use my phone for a lot of things, one thing in particular has always been vlogging or just sharing videos to my MacBook, because that's where I do all of my editing. On the Tailosive Talks channel, I am often vlogging, and of course, I think smartphone cameras are great. They have optical image stabilization, they can shoot in 4K or 1080 at 60. They're great cameras, so I don't feel the need to go out and spend another grand on a dedicated vlogging camera. I think that's redundant, and I don't need more SD cards in my life. I love that with smartphones, you can wirelessly share data to pro editing devices like iMacs and MacBooks, and that's just a great combo between my iPhone and my Mac, is that I can go on a trip and be vlogging the whole time, and I've got a great camera on there. I can zoom in with it, I can take great pictures, and when I'm done with the trip, I can just hit AirDrop and wirelessly share them to the MacBook. Now, of course, with the Galaxy S8, I couldn't have AirDrop, and not to worry, I'm not just hating on the S8 because it's a little bit of an inconvenience. I know that there are other ways to share data, so I did what most logical YouTubers would do. I backed it up to Google Photos because that is free. It's an unlimited amount of backup for 1080p video, even at 60 frames a second. So when I had the S8, I tried to vlog with that. I would be shooting my daily life just as I would with my iPhone. But then because I didn't have AirDrop, I would upload them to Google Photos and download them on my MacBook and edit them that way. However, this started to slow down my little routine and process, because that's when I discovered that when you upload videos and pictures to Google Photos, they're not at full resolution right away. In fact, if you download them too fast, like right after you've uploaded them, they'll be at 360p. Doesn't look good, and it's not what I want. And this particularly became annoying because during my tech videos, I like to show cutaway shots of whatever it is I'm talking about, whether it be my Apple Watch or the iPad. I like having a phone so that I can record 1080p at 60 frames a second video to cut away to show what you guys are talking about, and it's always very convenient when I'm editing these tech videos and I can just hit AirDrop and then send the videos and they're ready on my Mac at full resolution. Whereas when I did that with the S8, I had to wait for Google Photos to render in the background. So this, of course, delayed my process of editing video, which I didn't appreciate. And the sort of rare but semi-important thing I do with my smartphone is actually live stream for this channel and other channels. On the Talks channel, we do live live and we do podcasts that I live stream from my phone, because for some reason OBS on my MacBook doesn't work as well as just the built-in YouTube app on my phone. That is the fastest. I've tested them all. I have the least amount of problems with that. Believe me, I've tried a lot of different live streaming programs. The built-in YouTube one is the best. So with the S8, I tried to live stream from that, and maybe some of you watching this remember that stream. The microphone audio was terrible. People were complaining like, this doesn't look right, or this doesn't sound right, which was particularly annoying because this is an Android smartphone, and you feel like because Google owns Android and Google owns YouTube, it should actually work better on the Android phone, but no, not really. Then, of course, what happened even worse was I could never live stream longer than 30 minutes. I don't know what Samsung or Google thinks live streaming is, but typically we don't live stream things for 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Like when we have a stream, we like it to keep going probably more than half an hour. My live streams on this channel are typically an hour, and most people would say that's kind of short. I always get your complaints that I just joined and now it's over, great. Yeah, I see those complaints. That's why I try to live stream as much as I can for different time zones. That's why I stream at different times, but still, the YouTube app app would crash after 30 minutes, and then I couldn't open it again. I would try to. I would hit resume stream, it would start again, it would go for about 10 seconds and then cut out again. No idea why. I don't know if the phone is overheating or if YouTube can't live stream on Android very well, but for some bizarre reason, live streaming from my iPhone has never been a problem. That will live stream for several hours if I want it to. It does a great job at it. It's rarely gotten overheated. The microphone audio is so great. Back when we did that live stream with the S8, I switched over to the iPhone and everyone in the chat said, "Oh, thank you. The audio sounds infinitely better now. The video quality was better. And of course, I could live stream for more than 30 minutes. So the S8 was already kind of putting me into a box where I couldn't escape. Then the worst thing happened, and this is where it really drew the line. So it was kind of annoying to be backing up my photos and videos to Google Photos and having to wait for them to process before I download them. That was already slowing me down a little bit. But then Google Photos started glitching out and I couldn't even add photos and videos to Google Photos. It would say uploading items infinitely and the bar would just circle and it wouldn't change. I tried to turn the phone off and turn it back on again and it was still frozen. I tried closing the apps, I tried deleting the apps and reinstalling them, and then for some reason, for some weird glitch, Google Photos just could not accept anything else from the S8. I could take video and pictures on my iPhone, upload that to Google Photos, no problem, but the S8 wouldn't do it, which is an Android smartphone. I don't understand why Android seems less optimized for Google services than iOS. What's going on? So at that point now, I can't wirelessly share my photos and videos to my editing machine, and even before that, it took longer because they had to process. Now it's not doing it at all, and if I want to do my mobile live streaming, I have to use my iPhone anyway because the S8 simply can't do it. I have no clue why. So I know that not everyone had these problems with the S8, but for me, these are kind of cataclysmic problems, as in there's not a lot of time for me to try to tinker around and go on message boards and try to figure out what can I do to my S8 to make it do what it's meant to do. Aesthetically, yes, the Infinity display is amazing, but at the end of the day, it's still just Android, which doesn't change drastically over the years, unlike iOS, which when we get things like iOS 11, it's like rediscovering your phone all over again, and it makes me fall in love with the iPad and the iPhone even more because I love the new control center. We've got built-in screen recorders, we've got storage efficiency on our iPhones, watchOS 4 lets us control our camera, whether it be pictures and videos. Apple just makes their products worth it in the long run, and with Samsung, it's really impressive the day you buy it, and like me, you'll probably be impressed with it for a good month or two, but after a while, the problems start stacking up, and in my case, I literally had no choice. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have time to fiddle with it, so I said, look, I have a perfectly capable iPhone sitting on my nightstand that's gonna work well with my Apple Watch, that's gonna work well with my AirPods. S8 didn't work well with AirPods, but I've noticed that no Android smartphone really works well with AirPods. I can airdrop videos and pictures directly to my MacBook. They'll be there at full resolution. I don't have to wait for them to process, and the microphone sounds better on them. So yes, I traded with someone in my county who I found on Facebook online yard sale, a jet black iPhone 7 Plus for a Galaxy S8. He wanted one because he owned a tech repair shop and was curious about it because he'd never owned one, and I wanted jet black because I was getting black pods. I wanted them to match, and I've wanted jet black for a long time, but of course it wasn't available on launch date. I wanted to talk about it because it was kind of a controversial color because it's very weak, but I think it's a taste of what the iPhone edition is gonna be like. And overall, I've been very pleased with my Switch. I don't miss the S8 very much because I was sure that the longer I kept using it, the more the problems were going to stack up, and already I didn't have a choice. It made no sense to keep it. It couldn't do things that I need my phone to do. So that's the end of the story. That's why I ditched the Galaxy S8. If you have an S8 and it's working great for you, I'm not mad at you. I enjoyed the S8 for a time, and if it does everything you need it to do and you're not having glitches, then fantastic. Congratulations, I'm happy for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it continues to hold itself up, but just didn't work for me. I hope you guys can understand that. Let me know all your thoughts on the Galaxy product line in general in the comments below, and I hope that in the future, Android can kind of bring in some new features that are a bit more attractive to iOS users, because right now they really don't. It's just customization over customization over customization, and with Android O, it's like, what are you even adding? It's like nothing new at all. I tried to make a video about Android O, and I literally had nothing to say. Absolutely nothing to talk about. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.